Elias adjusted his tie nervously as the shuttle doors hissed open. Beyond the transparent barrier lay the Zarathian capital, a city suspended in midair over a glowing crystal river. Towers of shimmering metal and glass curved gracefully toward the sky, each structure appearing impossibly delicate, yet somehow unbreakable. The air hummed with energy, faintly tinged with the scent of ozone and unknown minerals. Elias had read reports, studied schematics, and trained for months, yet nothing could prepare him for the reality of standing in the heart of the most advanced civilization humanity had ever encountered. He stepped out onto the landing platform, his polished black shoes barely making a sound on the smooth surface. Around him, beings with elongated limbs and glimmering eyes moved gracefully, their skin reflecting soft colors that seemed to shift with their emotions. Elias' own heartbeat was loud in his ears, but he forced himself to stand tall. He had a job to do. He was humanity's representative, and he intended to perform it with every ounce of competence he possessed. A figure approached from the far end of the platform, her presence commanding yet serene. She moved with the kind of confidence that suggested centuries of experience, her robes flowing like liquid metal over her form. Elias' breath caught. This was the alien queen, ruler of the Zarathian Empire, a being who had inspired both awe and fear across star systems. And now she was walking directly toward him. "Elias," she said, her voice melodic but firm. "Welcome to Zarath. You have traveled far, and I appreciate the effort humanity has made to reach us." "Your Majesty," he said, keeping his tone respectful, "it is an honor beyond words to be here. Let us see if the reports are true." He had seen diagrams like this before, but seeing it live, feeling the subtle vibrations in the air, gave him insight that no simulation could provide. He noticed an irregularity, a minor distortion in the energy flow near one of the central towers. "I notice a fluctuation here," he said, pointing at the projection. "If left uncorrected, it could create a cascade effect on the entire network. It's small, but given the interconnectivity, it might escalate." He paused, hoping he was not overstepping. "With your permission, I could suggest a solution. By slightly adjusting the phase of one segment near the tower, you can harmonize the flow without disrupting the system. It would stabilize the network immediately and prevent potential overloads." Around them, her advisors exchanged cautious glances, murmuring among themselves in the alien tongue. Elias held his breath. He had no idea if his suggestion would be considered helpful or offensive. After a pause that felt like an eternity, the Queen smiled. "Interesting. You approach a complex system with clarity and logic. Many of my advisors would have overlooked the subtlety you perceive. We will implement your suggestion immediately." She waved a hand, and the advisors acknowledged the command. Within seconds, adjustments began, and the energy lines hummed in perfect synchronization. The city's subtle vibrations shifted into a stable rhythm. "You have exceeded my expectations," the Queen said, turning her attention fully to him. "Humans are more capable than I had imagined. You may walk with me. There is much to show you, and time is short." The air was alive with the hum of technology, yet it did not feel oppressive. It felt harmonious, as if the city itself were aware of every being within it. Elias felt both insignificant and profoundly honored. "You are different from what I expected," the Queen said suddenly, breaking the silence. "Your people are often described as fragile, yet I sense in you a strength I did not anticipate. Courage, curiosity, ingenuity." She paused, letting the words settle. "Tell me, Elias, why do you serve your people with such dedication?" "That is our strength." The Queen stopped and turned toward it. "This is the sacred crystal," she said. "It is the source of our power and the foundation of our civilization. You may view it, but you must understand one thing. Humans are forbidden to touch it. To do so would destabilize not only the city, but the entire empire." "I would never." "It is incredible," he said softly. The Queen smiled faintly. "Yes, and it is ours to protect. And now, it seems we have formed a bond, unlikely as it may seem, between our peoples." He knew that every move, every decision would be scrutinized not just by her but by the entire empire. Mistakes could have consequences beyond his comprehension. "Come," the Queen said, guiding him toward a bridge that arched gracefully over the crystal river. "There is more you must see. Understanding my world fully is the first step in understanding our future together." Slowly, he began to understand not just the technology and politics, but the philosophy and values that had sustained this civilization for millennia. At one point, She paused at a balcony overlooking the city. "Many of my advisors will challenge you, Ilias," she said. "They will test your limits, question your motives. Some may even wish to see you fail. You must rely on your intelligence and your humanity to navigate these challenges. Then perhaps there is hope that humans may indeed stand alongside us, not just as allies, but as equals. Not because he was the strongest or the fastest or the most advanced, but because he represented the ingenuity, resilience, and heart of humanity." As the sun of this alien world dipped below the horizon, casting prismatic reflections across the towers and crystal river, Ilias realized that his journey had only just begun. There would be challenges ahead, tests of skill, courage, and morality. There would be moments of doubt, danger, and scrutiny. But he also understood something profound. Even in the face of the impossible, humanity had the capacity to rise, to innovate, and to inspire. The alien queen's hand brushed briefly against his arm as she turned to lead him into the heart of the palace. It was a subtle gesture, almost imperceptible, yet it carried weight, trust, recognition. Perhaps even a hint of something more. Ilias felt the gravity of it, understanding that this moment was not just a meeting, but the beginning of a story that could reshape the future of two civilizations. And in that moment, Ilias resolved to prove in every way he could that humanity's value extended beyond mere survival. That humans could be brilliant, courageous, moral, and worthy, even in a universe filled with beings far older and wiser than themselves. As he followed the queen into the sprawling halls, lit by softly glowing orbs and intricate patterns of alien script, Ilias knew one thing with certainty. He would face every challenge ahead with the full measure of his heart and mind. And perhaps, just perhaps, the impossible rule guarding the sacred crystal was not a limitation, but an opportunity to show that humans could achieve the extraordinary without ever overstepping boundaries. The city hummed around them, alive with energy and potential. The alien queen led the way, and Ilias walked beside her, a human among the stars, ready to make history. Ilias had barely slept since the shuttle landed. His mind raced with thoughts of the Zarathian city, the humming crystal river, and the quiet, commanding presence of the alien queen. Yet, as dawn approached on this strange, glowing world, he found himself wide awake, staring at the vast expanse of alien architecture from the guest quarters provided for him. The room was a mixture of elegance and technology, walls that shifted color according to the mood of the day, soft floors that responded to movement, and a view that overlooked the city's energy flows like a river of light. He knew the day ahead would be unlike anything he had faced before. The queen had promised to show him more of her world, to explain the intricacies of her empire and the weight of the responsibilities he now shared, indirectly. But there was an unspoken understanding. His presence here was no ordinary visit. The humans who had traveled with him spoke in whispers about rumors circulating through the alien population. The queen's favor was unusual, almost unprecedented, and as Ilias dressed in his simple uniform, he could feel the weight of expectation pressing down on him. When he stepped out into the hallway, he found the queen waiting. She stood before a translucent door that shimmered in soft light. "Ilias," she said, her voice calm but carrying authority, "today you will see more than the city. You will see the heart of our power and the challenges that come with it. You must remember the rule that governs all humans in this space. You may observe the sacred crystal, but under no circumstances may you touch it. I would never disrespect your laws or your people." The air buzzed faintly as the platform lifted into the sky, giving them a panoramic view of the floating towers and the crystal river stretching toward the horizon. The city below looked alive, almost breathing, with energy pulsing along the lines of its architecture. "This is only a glimpse," the queen said. "The deeper parts of our world hold knowledge and power that few humans can even comprehend. But understanding is necessary if our peoples are to collaborate. Humans are unpredictable, resourceful, and sometimes reckless, but you also possess ingenuity and morality, qualities my advisors often lack." The energy it radiated was tangible even from the distance, a low hum that resonated in the chest. "This," she said, gesturing to the structure, "is where most of the Empire's decisions are made. Here all power converges. You will walk these halls as an observer, but remember the rule." "Yes, Your Majesty." In the center of the main hall, advisors and courtiers gathered, their attention briefly flicking toward the queen and the human at her side. Ilias felt eyes on him, analyzing every movement, judging every reaction. One of the advisors stepped forward. Their skin shimmered with subtle hues, and their voice carried the cadence of authority. Queen Selira, the human, shows promise, but how can we be certain he can navigate the challenges of our empire? He is untested in our ways. You may doubt, but you will learn. They passed libraries of knowledge stored in holographic matrices, galleries showing centuries of Zorathian history, and laboratories where energy from the sacred crystal was harnessed in ways that Elias could barely comprehend. Despite the alien complexity, he noticed patterns, logic, and systems that could be understood through careful study. At each step, he asked questions and offered observations. The queen occasionally nodded in approval, a rare gesture that sent a quiet thrill through him. Eventually, they arrived at the chamber containing the sacred crystal itself. The room was circular, vast, and shimmering with energy that bent light in unusual ways. The crystal floated above a pedestal, glowing with a spectrum of colors that seemed to pulse in rhythm with the city outside. Energy cascaded in arcs, connecting the crystal to the building's core and beyond. Elias felt the power even from a distance. It was beautiful, awe-inspiring, and terrifying. "This is the center of everything," the queen said softly. "The Empire's power, its stability, its life, all flows from this crystal, and yet it is fragile. Its integrity must never be compromised." She paused, letting her words hang. "Humans are forbidden to touch it. You may observe, but the consequences of contact are catastrophic." Humanity had faced countless challenges, but this was unlike anything he had ever encountered. He felt both humbled and inspired. As he studied the crystal, his mind wandered to the responsibilities that lay ahead. If the queen had chosen him, it meant she saw something extraordinary in humanity, or at least in him. That recognition alone was a testament to what humans could accomplish when given a chance. He resolved to prove that humans could rise to any challenge, respect every rule, and yet achieve the impossible through ingenuity and moral strength. "Observe carefully," the queen said, her tone both instructive and almost gentle. "Many will doubt you, and many will test you. You must rely on your judgment, your knowledge, and your human qualities to navigate these trials. You will be observed as much as you observe. That is the nature of integration with our empire." He realized that even a small mistake could have disastrous consequences, and yet he also saw potential, ways that human creativity might improve stability without violating the sacred rule. The queen spoke again, breaking his concentration. "There are matters beyond technology, Elias. Trust and morality are as important as intellect here. You will face situations where the right choice is not the obvious one. How you respond will determine not only your standing, but the future of both our peoples. Your fragility is your strength, your limitations are your resource. Do not underestimate yourself, Elias. You are capable of more than you know." Some were skeptical, some curious, and a few openly hostile. Yet he navigated each encounter with patience, intelligence, and integrity. He offered solutions without arrogance, asked questions without disrespect, and demonstrated that human problem-solving could complement even the most advanced alien systems. By the time evening approached, Elias was exhausted but exhilarated. He had seen wonders, faced challenges, and gained a measure of respect from beings far older and wiser than himself. And yet, the weight of the impossible rule, the prohibition against touching the sacred crystal, remained ever present. It was a constant reminder that even in triumph, humans must respect boundaries, adapt to alien rules, and prove their worth through intellect and ethics. The queen led him to a balcony overlooking the city as the twin suns set, casting prismatic reflections across the towers and river. The energy streams glowed like ribbons of light, and the crystal pulsed gently in the distance. "You have done well today, Elias," she said. "But tomorrow brings new challenges. The Empire watches, and you will be tested in ways that require more than knowledge. You will need courage, morality, and ingenuity, and perhaps a willingness to trust not only in yourself, but in me. Then perhaps, Elias, our peoples are destined to find common ground. Humans are often underestimated, yet you demonstrate qualities even my advisors admire. Remember this always. Your strength lies not in dominating, but in understanding, adapting, and choosing wisely." Humanity had a chance here, a chance to prove its worth not through force or conquest, but through intelligence, moral integrity, and courage. And he, a single human among the stars, would be at the center of it. As night fell over the Zorathian city, Elias realized that this was only the beginning. Challenges awaited, tests of skill and character that would push him to the limits. But for the first time in his life, he felt fully capable. not because he was the strongest or the fastest or the most advanced, but because he represented the best of humanity: ingenuity, resilience, empathy, and courage. And somewhere in the glow of the sacred crystal, he sensed the quiet acknowledgement of the alien queen. Their paths were intertwined now, bound by trust, curiosity, and the unspoken challenge of the impossible rule. Elias felt ready for whatever lay ahead. The next morning, Elias awoke to a soft glow filling his quarters. Light from Zerath's twin suns streamed through the shifting walls, painting the room in hues of gold and lavender. He rubbed his eyes and tried to shake off the lingering fatigue from the previous day. Every moment of his time on this alien world seemed to stretch him, testing his mind and his resolve. He knew that today would bring new challenges, ones that would test not only his intelligence, but his ability to remain calm under pressure. As he prepared, a message arrived via a sleek, floating tablet. It was from the Queen. "Meet me in the central chamber. There is a situation that requires your attention immediately. Observe carefully, but remember the rule." Elias' stomach tightened. The words carried urgency, and he sensed that this was no ordinary observation. He followed the hallways quickly, moving past corridors lined with luminous panels that displayed complex energy flows. Courtiers and advisors passed him, their gazes curious, some cautious. Elias could feel their judgments pressing on him as if every step were an examination. When he reached the central chamber, the Queen was already there, standing before the vast holographic projection of the city's energy network. Her expression was calm but tense. "Elias," she said, turning to him, "we have detected an anomaly in the energy flow of the city. A critical segment near the northern tower is fluctuating beyond safe parameters. If it is not addressed immediately, the entire network could cascade into failure." Lines of energy pulsed along intricate paths, connecting towers, bridges, and the central crystal. Near the northern tower, a segment flickered irregularly, vibrating in a way that suggested instability. He could feel the tension in the air, the pulse of power that seemed to hum directly into his chest. "Can it be stabilized?" the Queen asked. Her voice was calm but carried the weight of centuries of responsibility. Elias nodded. "Yes, but it will require precise adjustments. The standard protocols will not suffice. I need to redirect energy along secondary lines and synchronize the phases of multiple conduits. If done correctly, the fluctuation can be neutralized without damaging the network." "And can this be done without accessing the crystal chamber directly?" Her tone was decisive, and a trace of something else, trust, lingered beneath the authority. Elias moved to the control interface, a smooth surface that responded to gestures and thoughts. As he began, advisors whispered among themselves, skeptical of the human's ability to handle such a delicate task. Some shook their heads subtly, while others leaned closer, observing every motion. The pressure was immense, but Elias thrived on challenges. He took a deep breath, focusing on the patterns of energy, the feedback loops, the subtle resonance of each line. Hours seemed to pass in minutes as he worked. He adjusted conduits with precision, shifted energy flows, and monitored feedback from multiple points simultaneously. The room was silent except for the low hum of the network and the occasional instructions from the Queen. Every adjustment had to be perfect. One error could destabilize not just the northern tower, but the entire city. The Queen observed silently, her eyes fixed on Elias. There was no condescension in her gaze, only watchful respect. She had seen humans before, but none had displayed this combination of intellect, patience, and calm under pressure. Elias felt a surge of determination. He was proving that humanity could rise to challenges even in the most alien and high-stakes environments. Suddenly, a surge of energy flickered along a secondary conduit, threatening to cascade into the main network. Elias' mind raced. He could reroute the flow, but it would require splitting his attention between multiple points, risking further instability. He closed his eyes briefly, centering himself, and relied on instinct honed through years of problem-solving. With careful gestures and precise timing, he stabilized the primary flow, then redirected the secondary surge through auxiliary channels. The fluctuation diminished, the lines of energy pulsed smoothly, and the city's network hummed in perfect synchronization. The tension in the room lifted, replaced by awe and relief. The Queen's expression softened, a rare smile touching her lips. "Well done, Elias. You have prevented a catastrophe without violating the rule." "Few could have accomplished this." The Queen approached him. "Your people possess qualities we often underestimate. Your ingenuity, your calmness under pressure, and your ethical approach are extraordinary. Humans may not have lived as long as my kind, but you achieve much in your short time. I only hope to continue proving that humans can contribute meaningfully to your civilization. Others may attempt to manipulate events to test your limits. You must remain vigilant but also patient. Intelligence and morality often outweigh brute strength, even among our people. His every action would be scrutinized, but he was ready. Later, he was given a brief moment of rest in a private garden, an oasis suspended above the city. Exotic plants glowed softly in the dim light, and water trickled along crystalline channels. Elias sat on a smooth bench, reflecting on the day. He thought of his home planet, of the struggles and triumphs of humanity, and of the remarkable opportunity before him. Here, on an alien world, he was discovering that humans could excel not through power alone, but through creativity, ethics, and determination. A soft rustle of movement caught his attention. The queen stepped into the garden, her presence as commanding and serene as ever. She did not speak immediately, letting him enjoy the peace. Then she said, "Elias, today you demonstrated what many would consider impossible. You respected the rule, preserved our city, and earned the attention of even my most skeptical advisors. This is not just skill, it is wisdom. I only hope that I can continue to live up to your expectations, Your Majesty." There was something profound in her gaze, an acknowledgement that went beyond protocol. It was recognition, respect, and perhaps the beginning of trust. Elias understood that trust was earned, not given, and he was determined to uphold it. The garden grew quiet as the twin suns set, casting a spectrum of light across the city below. The energy streams of the towers glowed, reflecting the stability Elias had helped secure. For a moment, the vastness of the Zarathian Empire felt less intimidating. He was not just a human in a foreign world. He was a contributor, a problem solver, and a symbol of what humanity could achieve when given a chance. The queen spoke again, her voice softer now, almost contemplative. "Elias, you must know that your actions today have consequences beyond the immediate. You have demonstrated that humans can be trusted, not only with knowledge but with responsibility. Others will watch, and some will challenge you. They may attempt to provoke failure to see if the impossibility of the rule will overcome your ingenuity. You must remain steadfast. I will do my best to navigate those challenges with care and respect. Remember that, and you will succeed where others may falter." Yet he felt ready. He understood that the impossible rule, the prohibition against touching the sacred crystal, was not a limitation but a framework within which he could prove humanity's ingenuity. Later that night, as he prepared for rest, Elias looked out over the city once more. Lights shimmered like stars, energy flowed like rivers of light, and the sacred crystal pulsed in the distance. He felt a sense of connection, not just to the queen, but to the potential of human achievement. Humanity was far from the most advanced species in the galaxy, but humans could solve problems, navigate challenges, and act with morality in ways that even the most powerful civilizations respected. Elias knew that the journey was only beginning. He would face skepticism, political intrigue, and situations where morality and intelligence were tested against danger and tradition. But he also knew that he had the capacity to rise to each challenge, to earn trust, and to demonstrate the enduring strength of humanity. And somewhere, in the quiet glow of the sacred crystal, Elias felt the subtle acknowledgement of the alien queen. Their paths were now intertwined, bound by trust, curiosity, and the challenge of navigating the impossible. With courage, ingenuity, and morality as his guides, Elias was ready to continue proving that humans were capable of extraordinary achievements. The city slept beneath him, yet its hum of energy suggested vigilance and potential. Elias, a single human in a world of ancient power, felt a surge of determination. He would not merely survive here. He would thrive, he would inspire, and he would show that humanity, even in the face of impossibility, could achieve greatness. The morning sun of Zerath bathed the city in golden light, making the towers glimmer like molten glass. Elias had barely finished his breakfast when a sharp chime echoed through the palace. A message from the queen arrived in his quarters, delivered via a hovering light device. It was brief. "Meet me at the northern observation deck. An urgent matter requires your immediate attention." Yesterday's challenge had tested his ingenuity and calm under pressure, but the urgency in the queen's message suggested that today's problem might be far more difficult. He dressed quickly and moved through the corridors, passing courtiers and advisors who gave him wary glances. He felt the subtle tension in the air. Something had shifted. The Queen's eyes would soon reveal whether it was danger, a test, or both. When he reached the observation deck, he found the Queen already there, her posture straight and her gaze fixed on the northern horizon. The deck extended over the city, providing an unobstructed view of the northern tower cluster, where delicate energy conduits snaked toward the sacred crystal. Elias noticed a faint flicker in the energy flows, subtle but irregular. He frowned. "What is happening?" he asked. The Queen's voice was calm, but there was an edge of concern. "A critical fluctuation has been detected within the northern tower's primary conduit. It threatens the network of energy flows linked to the sacred crystal. If it continues, the structure could collapse, and with it, the stability of the city. You must act, Elias, but remember the rule: you may not enter the chamber housing the crystal." A collapse could damage thousands of lives and destabilize centuries of technology, and yet he felt a spark of determination. Humans had a history of solving problems that seemed impossible. He would prove it again. The Queen gestured toward a control interface. Elias approached and studied the projected energy map. The fluctuation was subtle but persistent, a vibration in the conduits that threatened to grow if not corrected. It was also erratic, unpredictable, and unlike any problem he had faced before. He analyzed the network carefully, tracing each connection and identifying points where adjustments could safely be made without entering restricted zones. As he worked, he sensed the eyes of advisors on him. Some whispered among themselves, skeptical of a human attempting to solve a crisis so intimately tied to the sacred crystal. Others watched with cautious interest, perhaps secretly hoping he would succeed. The Queen observed silently, her expression unreadable, but Elias could feel her confidence and trust resting on his shoulders. Hours passed in a blur of calculations and adjustments. Elias used all of his knowledge and intuition, making precise tweaks to auxiliary energy channels, rerouting power and synchronizing feedback loops. The northern tower's vibration lessened slightly, then worsened unexpectedly, threatening to cascade. He froze for a moment, realizing that the next choice could determine success or disaster. A sudden thought struck him. The fluctuation originated from a conduit connecting directly to the lower segment of the crystal's chamber. To stabilize it, he would need to influence the energy flow at the chamber's edge. Direct access was forbidden, but perhaps a careful remote rerouting could achieve the same effect. He quickly mapped a path using secondary channels, calculating every variable with meticulous precision. "Elias," the Queen's voice broke the tension, "be cautious. One wrong move and you could destabilize the sacred crystal." He manipulated the interface, adjusting flow rates, compensating for feedback, and gradually bringing the erratic vibrations under control. The room hummed with energy as he worked, every movement precise, every decision critical. At one point, a sudden spike occurred, a surge that threatened to breach the safety limit. Elias' instincts kicked in. He carefully split the flow into multiple auxiliary conduits, diverting energy away from the primary channel while simultaneously reinforcing the network. The surge dissipated. The vibration slowed. The northern tower stabilized. A collective sigh echoed from the advisors, some visibly relieved, others stunned. Elias exhaled, feeling the adrenaline leave his body. He had accomplished what seemed impossible, stabilizing the network without ever entering the chamber or touching the sacred crystal. The Queen approached, her gaze fixed on him. "Remarkable, Elias. Few of my people could have done what you just achieved. You respect the rule, yet you have solved a problem that could have devastated our city. These qualities are rare, even among my advisors." Someone or something was assessing whether he could maintain calm under continuous pressure. He studied the new fluctuation carefully. Unlike before, this one was unpredictable, shifting rapidly between conduits. Direct intervention was impossible without violating the rule. He thought back to human problem-solving methods, combining logic with creativity. There had to be a solution that respected boundaries while achieving the necessary effect. Then he saw it. By slightly adjusting the phase of nearby auxiliary conduits, he could create a harmonic resonance that would counteract the instability, much like tuning a musical instrument. It required delicate timing and complete focus, but it was possible. He acted, slowly synchronizing the conduits and carefully monitoring the feedback. The fluctuation responded, weakening with each adjustment. Minutes passed, though they felt like hours. Elias' hands moved quickly, guided by intuition and calculation. The energy flows aligned perfectly. The northern tower and surrounding conduits stabilized completely. Silence filled the chamber, broken only by the soft hum of the network, now calm and steady. The queen finally spoke, her voice carrying both pride and relief. Elias, you have succeeded where many would have failed. You respected the rule, preserved the sacred crystal, and demonstrated the rare combination of intelligence, morality, and courage. You have earned not only my respect, but that of the Empire itself. It was a moment that defined not just his role, but the potential of humanity in this alien world. The queen gestured toward the advisors. Observe him, learn from him. Humanity may be young, but their capacity for ingenuity and ethical decision-making is remarkable. Elias felt a quiet pride, knowing that his people were beginning to earn recognition, not through force or dominance, but through intellect and moral courage. Later, the queen led him to a private observation balcony overlooking the city. The twin suns had begun their descent, casting long shadows across the towers and reflecting off the crystal river. Elias felt the exhaustion of the day settling in, but also a deep sense of accomplishment. Elias, the queen said softly, you have faced a challenge that could have destroyed us, and yet you found a way to succeed without compromising the rule. This is what I meant when I said that humans possess qualities rare among my people. Ingenuity, restraint, and ethical reasoning, these are the traits that define you. You do more than prove your people's worth. You prove that trust and respect can exist across species, that humans can contribute meaningfully to civilizations far older and more advanced than their own. Remember this, Elias. Boundaries exist for a reason, but within them, extraordinary things can be achieved. The impossible rule, the prohibition against touching the sacred crystal, was not a limitation but a framework within which humans could demonstrate creativity, discipline, and moral courage. It was a challenge that required not brute strength, but intellect, patience, and ethical decision-making. And he had met it. As night fell over the city, Elias reflected on the day. The network of energy flows hummed steadily, the northern tower was secure, and the advisors' skepticism had given way to quiet respect. Humanity had been tested and had proven itself, not through dominance, but through ingenuity, morality, and courage. The queen stood beside him in silence, watching the city below. Finally, she spoke. Elias, tomorrow may bring challenges even greater than today. You will be tested not only in intellect, but in character. Some will attempt to provoke you, to see if the impossibility of the rule will force failure. You must remain steadfast, intelligent, and ethical in every choice you make. I will not fail, and I will respect the rule no matter what. Your actions define the potential of your people. Humanity had been underestimated for centuries, yet here, on an alien world of unimaginable power, humans could shine not through force, but through ingenuity, ethics, and courage. He looked out at the city one last time that night, the sacred crystal glowing softly in the distance, and felt the quiet acknowledgement of the queen. The impossible rule remained, a boundary that defined what humans could not do directly, yet within which they could achieve greatness. And Elias knew with certainty that he was ready to continue proving humanity's worth, step by step, challenge by challenge. The city slept beneath them, but its hum of energy promised vigilance, potential, and opportunity. Elias, a single human among beings older, wiser, and stronger, felt a surge of determination. He would face whatever trials came next. He would inspire, he would solve, and he would show that humanity, even in the face of impossibility, could achieve extraordinary things. The city of Zerath shimmered under the twin suns as Elias made his way to the central palace. The past days had been a whirlwind of observation, tests, and challenges, yet today carried a weight unlike any he had experienced. The queen had summoned him personally to discuss the future of their collaboration, and whispers throughout the palace suggested that something extraordinary was about to happen. Elias entered the grand hall, where energy flowed in soft arcs above the polished floors. Advisors, scholars, and dignitaries from across the empire had gathered, their faces a mixture of curiosity, skepticism, and admiration. In the center, the alien queen stood tall and radiant, her presence commanding immediate attention. When her gaze met his, Elias felt a mixture of warmth, pride, and anticipation. Today, he understood, would mark a turning point, not just for him, but for humanity. Elias, the queen said, her voice carrying effortlessly across the hall, you have proven yourself in ways few could have imagined. You have faced challenges that demanded intellect, morality, and courage. You have respected the rule, and in doing so, you have shown humanity at its best. The empire has long been governed by rules, tradition, and careful observation. One such rule prohibits humans from approaching the sacred crystal. Yet, despite this limitation, Elias has demonstrated that he can navigate challenges without direct contact, with creativity, patience, and moral judgment. It is clear that humanity possesses qualities we have underestimated for centuries. Elias, I ask you not only to continue your work, but to become my consort, not in the way of political expedience, but in recognition of trust, respect, and shared purpose. This union comes with a single, impossible rule: you must never touch the sacred crystal. He understood the significance of the rule, a boundary that could not be crossed, a reminder that even in partnership, respect and restraint were paramount. I accept, he said firmly. I will honor this rule as I have honored every challenge before me, and I will do my best to serve both our peoples with integrity and ingenuity. Then let it be so, she declared. Let today mark a new era of trust, collaboration, and mutual respect between humans and Zorathians. In the days that followed, preparations for a formal ceremony began. Humans and Zorathians worked side by side, a symbol of cooperation and mutual respect. Elias observed the planning carefully, ensuring that every detail honored both cultures. He marveled at the alien technology, the precision, and the artistry, yet he also noted moments where human creativity enhanced efficiency and problem-solving. It was a rare opportunity to see two worlds blend while maintaining their unique identities. Finally, the day arrived. The ceremony took place in the grand hall, the sacred crystal glowing softly in the background. Dignitaries from across the empire were present, along with representatives from humanity, observing through secure communication links. Elias stood beside the queen, his heart steady, his mind focused, and his resolve unshaken. The queen spoke first. Today, we celebrate not just a union, but the recognition of humanity's potential. Humans are often underestimated, yet Elias has shown that through intellect, moral courage, and ingenuity, humans can stand alongside even the most advanced civilizations. I will honor the rule, respect your people, and strive to show the best of humanity in every decision. The impossible rule was not a limitation, but a symbol of trust, a framework within which he could demonstrate human capability, wisdom, and morality. After the formalities, the queen led Elias to a private balcony overlooking the city. The twin suns were setting, casting long shadows across the towers and reflecting in the crystal river. The sacred crystal pulsed gently in the distance, a constant reminder of both power and restraint. You have exceeded every expectation, the queen said softly. Your people have proven that intelligence, courage, and morality are forces that even we must respect. Today is not the end of your challenges, but it is the beginning of a partnership that may shape the future of our civilizations. That is the promise I make to you and to your people. You are the embodiment of humanity's potential, and through you, we will build something greater than either of our worlds could achieve alone. Human ingenuity complemented Zorathian precision, and the combination of skills and perspectives brought results neither could have achieved alone. The Empire began to see that humans were more than allies. They were partners capable of contributing in meaningful ways. Elias encountered challenges beyond technical problems. Some advisors tested him with subtle political maneuvers, attempting to provoke reactions or force mistakes. Others tried to create situations where he might be tempted to breach the rule. Each time, Elias relied on observation, logic, and moral reasoning, demonstrating patience and wisdom. His successes further strengthened the trust between him and the queen, and slowly, the skepticism among the advisors diminished. One evening, after a particularly intense session coordinating energy stabilization projects, Elias and the queen stood together on the palace balcony. The city below glowed softly, the sacred crystal pulsing in harmony with the energy networks. You have done more than I could have imagined, the queen said. Your success is not just in solving problems, but in showing that humans can act with courage and integrity even when facing impossible constraints. That is what sets your people apart. The opportunity to work with your people, under your guidance, has shown me that humans can achieve greatness when trust and respect are present. That is what I hope to continue demonstrating. Humanity has proven its worth through you, Elias, and together, we will shape a future that neither civilization could imagine alone. Humans were no longer seen as fragile or limited. They were recognized as capable, intelligent, and moral, able to contribute meaningfully to a complex and advanced civilization. Through this union, the Queen and Elias established programs that fostered collaboration between humans and Zorathians. Training initiatives, joint research projects, and cultural exchanges flourished. Humans brought fresh perspectives and problem-solving approaches, while Zorathians offered knowledge and experience that spanned millennia. The combination proved powerful, and the empire thrived as a result. Throughout it all, the rule remained inviolate. Elias never approached the sacred crystal. He understood that its prohibition was not a barrier to achievement, but a framework within which humans could demonstrate ingenuity, restraint, and ethical judgment. The rule became a symbol of trust, reminding all that boundaries, when respected, could coexist with extraordinary accomplishment. One evening, as the twin suns set and the city's energy hummed softly, Elias and the Queen stood together, looking out over the glowing towers. "We have accomplished much," Elias said, "but I know there will be more challenges ahead. That is the strength that will guide our future together." The sacred crystal pulsed gently in the distance, a constant reminder of the balance between power and restraint, between opportunity and responsibility. Elias felt a quiet sense of accomplishment. He had met the impossible rule, upheld trust, and demonstrated the best qualities of humanity. As night fell over Zerath, the city hummed with energy, alive with possibility. Elias, a single human among the stars, felt the profound reality of his role. He had not only navigated challenges, he had built trust, forged alliances, and shown that humanity could achieve greatness even under impossible constraints. And in the quiet glow of the sacred crystal, the alien queen stood beside him, a partner in vision and purpose. Together, they looked out over the city, knowing that their collaboration would shape the future of two civilizations, bound by trust, respect, and the extraordinary potential of humanity. Elias knew with certainty that this was just the beginning. Challenges would continue to arise, and trials would test intellect, morality, and courage. But humanity had been proven capable, and he would continue to demonstrate that humans could achieve the extraordinary without ever violating trust, rules, or ethical boundaries. The city slept beneath them, but its energy hummed with promise. The empire, guided by the wisdom of the Queen and the ingenuity of a single human, stood poised for a future of innovation, cooperation, and mutual respect. Elias, standing beside the Queen, felt the weight of possibility and the power of choice. He was ready for whatever lay ahead. For humanity, the impossible had become achievable, not through strength, but through ingenuity, morality, and courage. And the universe, watching from distant stars, had begun to understand the enduring potential of a species that never ceased to rise to the occasion.